Wireless networks revolutionized our relationship to the internet. Instead of being connected from one physical wire to a location, just like a home phone, Wi-Fi lets me stay connected anywhere within range of a wireless signal. The ease of setting up new users on Wi-Fi and the increasing popularity of mobile devices make it highly likely that your target organization has a wireless network, so you're going to need to pen test it. Wireless networks send data over radio waves, which make them very susceptible to eavesdropping. The way to prevent eavesdropping is to encrypt the data so that it's protected as it travels from one point to another. Remember the thing about the coffee shop? Yeah, this is it. In the next lesson, I'm going to discuss the flaws and protocols for wireless security, WP, WPA, WPA2. In the lesson after that, I'll show you how to crack WPA2, and then we'll try out some Wi-Fi hacking in your test lab. In this lesson, we're going to look more in depth at wireless networks. If you've ever connected to a Wi-Fi network or been at a coffee shop or set up your phone, you know what the wireless network name is. That is what's called an SSID. Wireless network access points continually broadcast their SSID, or at least in most cases, which is used by clients to identify which network they're wanting to connect to, and then they connect to it. Often the SSID is simply the name of the company, which makes it pretty easy to figure out which network you're targeting. Some companies cloak their SSIDs so they're not discoverable by the public. However, there's a lot of tools and techniques that can easily expose the SSID, and that's what you're going to need to be able to direct your attacks. Whenever a client locates their preferred network SSID, they have to authenticate in order to gain access to the wireless network. This initial authentication between the client and the access point is called the handshake. The handshake occurs outside of the wireless network, so it's the easiest target for hacking into the Wi-Fi. We'll explore this more in the next video. Since Wi-Fi broadcasts data using radio, pretty much anybody can eavesdrop on it. The way to prevent eavesdropping is to encrypt your data. Use a VPN. And not many people do. Even if I told you to do it, and there's 100 people in a room, and I said, immediately leave here, go download a VPN, configure it, and then you can go about your day. Maybe 10 people would do it. Maybe. The first generation of wireless security was WEP, W-E-P, which is a extremely flawed and highly vulnerable protocol. When you set up a router with WEP, it uses one static encryption key to encrypt every packet that's transmitted. A hacker can intercept these packets and reverse engineer the encryption key, and then it's open door to all the data. You might as well not even be using it. The next generation of wireless security, which was WPA, provided better encryption, but connected devices that aren't configured for WPA still fall back to WEP. The successor to WPA is WPA2, a much stronger and tougher encryptor, but same flaws, and we're going to explore that in the next lesson. All right, guys, so we're going to be hacking a WEP security protocol today. And you can see I've already run a few different commands from a different setup. ifconfig shows the interfaces. And now you can see I'm going to get ready to type Airmon-ng, and we're going to be switching the external wireless adapter into monitor mode. By typing in Airmon-ng, start WLAN 0, and that will switch our wireless adapter into monitor mode, and it'll actually change the interface name from WLAN0 to WLAN0MON. And now we're going to do Airodump-ng WLAN 0MON, and now we're going to be able to see all of the different networks that it's able to pick up. And at this point, we're just trying to grab the MAC address of lab-Wi-Fi. That is the Wi-Fi network that I set up on this router that I'm using for these testing purposes. And you can see it kind of up towards the top. There we go. It ends in alpha 3. You can push Control-C if it's moving around too much, and that'll just stop any new input. And then you can copy that, We're going to open up a new terminal. Now we're going to run Airodump-ng -w, and we're going to write, and what this is going to do, this is going to create a capture, like a Wireshark capture, a packet capture, and I'll explain a little bit more about that in a little bit. And it's going to do a packet capture of all traffic, and that -c means channel, and that is the wireless channel. So we're going to see channel 4 with BSSID, and we're going to paste the MAC address that we grabbed from Lab Wi-Fi on the previous terminal. Now we're going to type in the interface name. And I left out a hyphen on the double hyphen, so we're just going to go back, and I'm going to pretend like that never happened and add in another hyphen. Make sure I didn't make any more mistakes. Oh yeah, channel 6, that's fine. Perfect. Now this is going to start capturing packets, intercepting, as you can see, the beacons up towards the top is incrementing upwards as it grabs and captures these packets, and it's saving them into the default save location because we didn't have to specify a file path, so we just had the -w lab Wi-Fi, and that's going to be the capture name. Now, the more beacons, the higher the likelihood of being able to actually break WEP. Now, it takes quite a bit. This demo is going to be probably between 20 and 25 minutes long if I didn't cut it down to size. So, what this capture is doing is logging all of the different packets it's able to collect, and we're going to run another command in a new command window. And that's going to be Aircrack-ng. Capture name Lab Wi-Fi, and it's actually going to come out as Lab Wi-Fi-01.cap. So anything you put in there, add a -01.cap and capture file. And now it is trying to crack the WEP encryption based on the number of data, which is right next to beacons. Right now it says 15 IVs. And we need quite a few more. So it's going to have to wait a bit. And so I'm going to fast forward. And now if you look up towards the top, you'll see the number data is actually at 13,000, and the magic number is somewhere around 15,000. And we're going to be coming up on that here pretty quick. So I'll let us get back to that and fast forward and see you at the end. Well, as you can see, the magic number was 15,055, and we were able to successfully crack WEP. And without all the fast forwards, it took about 20 minutes, start to finish, for this entire demo. And now you can see how easy that was. All right, guys. This is going to be cracking WPA2, and it's going to start out exactly the same way as we did the WEP encryption cracking. Now, my card was already in monitor mode. If you need a refresher on how to do that, there is all the steps in the supplement for this specific lecture. Very, very easy steps. You did it in the last one. We just found the MAC address, and now we're going to run the exact same command. So we're going to run Airodump, channel 6. And we're going to write, our capture is going to be called capture. And I'm not going to forget the hyphen this time. Paste the MAC address in. And the interface, WLAN 0mon. Bam. Now, what we need to have happen here is we are going to try and capture the handshake that occurs between a client, somebody, and the access point, which actually occurs outside of the encrypted Wi-Fi network. It has to occur outside of it because they haven't connected yet. So what ends up happening is someone connects, and I simulated that by using my internal wireless card back in my regular host operating system and connected to lab Wi-Fi, which then created this WPA handshake thing in the upper right hand corner, letting us know that the capture was successful and we got the handshake. So now we can just go ahead and stop this packet capture, and there it's stopped. Because what we're going to do now is we can take that packet capture and run Wordlist against it to try and crack it. Now this could take a long time, or it could take a very, very short amount of time depending on how long the password is. This is why we tell you choose long passwords. Now, I already have saved a short word list called short.txt in the same place as the capture file. And oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot the -01.cap. That's why it's not working. All right, let me fix that. Aircrack-ng capture -01.cap. And we're going to use file short.txt, and bam! There you go. Password was admin123. Simple as that.